We're here at Automation Fair talking with CraigResnick, Senior Advisor of ARC Advisory Group. Craig, there's a lot of new, interesting things at this year's Rockwell Automation Fair, including something new called automation appliances. What are they?
Well, looking around the fair, we've noticed that automation appliances are really starting to become prevalent on the factory floor, and they're becoming in demand by end users. Now, you may ask, what is an automation appliance? An automation appliance provides essentially a plug-and-play solution that enables a controller to communicate directly up into the enterprise, into the production management level, without having to go through an extensive loading of software, which requires a lot of programming, support, configuration, maintenance, and revisions. These are essentially plug-and-play type of solutions that enable people to, set it up once, configure it once, and it can run for certainly, months on months or possibly years on years of continuous uninterrupted service.
How does that help manufacturing companies?
Well, what it does is certainly it shortens the time of deployment from the time that project goes through startup, because instead of having to go through the loading of software and going through configuration, testing, startup, this is a case where you actually plug a module in, and sometimes we use a term called plug and play. And what plug and play means is just plug it in, connect it, maybe do a very, very simple configuration, and off you go. And now you've established that connection. So what sometimes could take days or possibly weeks to establish, now you can do sometimes in possibly minutes or maybe a matter of a few hours. So it shortens the time of deployment, and then it also makes, from a product lifecycle perspective, it greatly lowers that lifecycle cost just purely because of the fact that, again, you're not having to go through software revisions every 6 months. You're not having to go through hiring people to have to maintain the software, to keep it running, keep it updated, and going through debugging processes. So it also can kind of keeps it also where it can be supported well at the factory floor, rather than having to get multiple people from multiple areas of the plant, maybe even from the IT department, to have to maintain it.
What kind of value does that provide a manufacturing company? Does it lower costs? Does it increase profits? What does it do?
It does, value-wise, yes, it certainly increases profitability because, again, it lowers the total cost of ownership. So that's one of the things that certainly would be one of its primary virtues. The other thing that it does is, let's say, for example, a company, in flexible manufacturing today, people are running smaller lots with greater change and greater variability to the products in which they're producing. So as you're going through lot changes, now you can now change the recipe for the product. So if you're in a packaging application, for example, and now all of a sudden instead of having to run one monolithic product, you can now more easily adjust what the packaging machine is doing, because you're actually getting that recipe down from the enterprise down with the set points being set by the controller, and now that they're on the opposite direction, it can now send information back up into the enterprise that can go out to customer relationship management software, or CRM, out into the supply chain. So it not only provides, again, lowering total cost of ownership to support the product, but it greatly speeds up time to deployment.
Are those benefits able to be obtained quickly? Does it have a good ROI?
ROI-wise, you're going to see a payback, certainly probably more in 3 to 6 month period rather than into 1 to 2 year period from what our experience has found. So it's something that there's a tremendous investment potential, certainly for all manufacturers that look to automation appliances as a solution for connectivity from the plant floor to the enterprise.